Hello, good day. Today is Sunday the 14th of June 2020 and welcome to another conversation from A Cat Has 9 Lives Virtual Detox. Today is, it's Donald Trump's birthday. It's also Dilly's birthday, so happy birthday Dilly, but I doubt she will be watching this. Okay. Last week we had 211 viewers, which was absolutely brilliant. The goal was 200 and we exceeded it. I'm delighted. So this time, can we take it even further? Can we get 250, for example? And I can only do that with your help. Could you share this with your friends and other people who might be interested, so we get more and more people watching? Also, I do have a YouTube channel which I need to reinvigorate, I think. It's been sitting there doing not a lot for a long time. And perhaps we will work to put these on YouTube as well, so that they have perhaps better posterity. Now, what's the purpose of all of this? What's the purpose of A Cat Has 9 Lives Detox? Virtual detox? Well, in essence, it's this. It's to bring people away from a condition that is disempowerment. I call it disease, or better still, dis-ease. Disempowerment. Making poor choices for themselves, making poor dietary choices, making poor choices of how to bring themselves to good health, poor exercise choices, poor choices in general, and to move those people to a new place. And that new place is empowerment, where they make better choices. And that place where the better choices, be it health, detox, whatever, nutrition, supplementation, that better place I call thrive. So that's what this is all about. And what I would really like is for all of you to thrive, to move away from a lot of things that are happening at the moment. Someone, hello Barbara, someone sent me a video from a group, about a group that called themselves Quackhacks. Well, it's quite a funny name really, Quackhacks, but actually, this is the disturbing part. Quackhacks has been put out by the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. And it's a police force that is there to enforce what they call the rules regarding the treatment of COVID-19. Therefore, there are only certain treatments that are allowed for that. So it's against their regs to come along and talk about that. Well, why not come from a place of good health? Why not take vitamin C, for example? They don't like vitamin C at all. But there's stacks and stacks of information about the power of vitamin C. It's all there. So we talked about this last week when we talked about inflammation. So again, what is this all about? Well, the bottom line really, I think, to many of these situations is polarization. It's the old Hegelian dialectic. Problem, solution with a mid-bit. Problem, reaction, solution. And that's going on all over the place at the moment. This Black Lives Matter, that irritates me too, because all lives matter. All lives matter. I remember in America, I went to visit my aunt in the 60s, and she married a naval officer and lived in Norfolk, Virginia, and going to the beach and being really surprised that the beach was segregated. And that's many years ago. But we've come so far from there. We've made peace. And here is a group of people, and I can bet you that they're not black, who are agitating to create racial discrimination and racial violence. Already in London today, people are flooding in on this matter so that you have the left pitted against the right. That's polarization. The Hegelian dialectic. What's going on? Well, people are busily fighting amongst themselves. This group, this whatever you want to call them, get on with their own agenda that's unnoticed. There's a very, very, very big elephant sitting in the middle of the living room. Have you seen it? All this stuff is diversion. It's a diversion so we don't see that elephant. And that elephant is very, very disturbing. I say it again. Very, very disturbing. What is it? What is it all about? Well, one of the things that really, really gets to me at the moment is this whole story about missing children. In the United States alone, and many people find this a subject that they don't want to go near. Please, just listen to brave journalists like Sonia Poulton who talk about this. That there was no real accident that last week suddenly Madeleine McCann appeared from the shadows after having disappeared 13 years ago. That's a clue. There's something there. I'm not going to go into it. I find that many people find it very disturbing and they don't want to go down that road. But if you want to know more, I'm very happy offline, if it were, to take your message and point you in the right direction of what is going on. And I can say one thing: it's not good, it's very evil. Later today, and today's a busy day, at 10 minutes past 4 UK time, and this is very important, there's a peace meditation. I really urge everybody to join in so that there can be an embodiment of mass consciousness coming from not fighting one another. There's far too much of that. You just go online and you express an opinion that is contrary to somebody else's, and immediately you get into a very heated discussion that usually ends up in expletives. There's no, well, it's not discussion. It's either you're right or you're wrong. No. We need to listen to what other people have to say. It's so important. I really urge this. Because from that we learn something. Okay? So, the meditation. This is, we're all coming together from a place of agreement and peace to put away these disagreements, this manufactured polarization, and create a higher energy level, an energy of peace, love and caring. That's where we need to come from. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, also today, at 5 p.m. UK time, David Icke is going to be on London Real again. And he, if you don't really know what's going on in these troubled times, David Icke is going to tell you. I did watch his, during the week, he did an interview with his son, which is probably a dress rehearsal for what is going to happen today. And there's going to be some very strong information there. So those two things I point out. And now I want to move to the real point, where I want to go, where I want to bring all this together in this conversation. And that is the vagus nerve. Who's heard of the vagus nerve? Well, the vagus nerve is very often ignored or not talked about very much. The vagus nerve begins up here in line with at the top of the cervical column. And the first two vertebrae, the first one is the atlas, and the second one is the axis. Just go up there and feel and see what you can discover. If there's any discomfort or pain, if you ever had a car crash or had whiplash, those could well have been damaged. There are a few chiropractors who specialize in putting these right, but they're few and far between. But the vagus nerve begins up there, comes under here, it's on two sides, it's bilateral, comes right down, serves all the organs of the body. And vagus is a Latin term, and it means to wander. From it we get words like vagabond, a wanderer, a tramp, or even vague, not specific, going all over the place. So it goes and it serves all the organs, from the lungs, from the esophagus into the lungs, down to the liver, the pancreas, the kidneys, all the way down into the stomach, into the small intestine, and it ends its journey in the transverse colon. So the vagus nerve, what does it do? Well, it turns on the sympathetic part of the ANS, the Autonomic Nervous System. Did I say sympathetic? That's wrong. It turns on the parasympathetic, because the ANS has two sides. The sympathetic, which is flight or fight or freeze, that cuts in, it's adrenal dominated when we're running away from something that's fearful, or something that makes us angry, fight or freeze. But that is probably a design fault. If it were in a Volkswagen, it would probably be recalled. It was very, very, very important when we were living in the forest and when we occasionally met a saber-toothed tiger. But it's much less relevant today in our day-to-day existence, because we very rarely meet saber-toothed tigers. So we don't confront, or very infrequently do we confront, life or death situations. And the flight or fight, the sympathetic is the impetus to run faster, fight harder, escape, and to survive. But it was only supposed to be used occasionally. But where we wanted to spend most of our time was in the opposite side of this matrix, and that was with the parasympathetic. That's the relaxation mode. It's, you've run away from the tiger, or you've killed the tiger and you've taken it home for lunch, and now you want to relax and get over all that stress. So you put your feet up, you go into parasympathetic dominance. And that's really what we all need to be doing in this time. Very many people find that their parasympathetic is disempowered. It's not working. They are living so much of their time in flight or fight, in stress. And nothing is more to the point than that at this time. We had all this COVID-19, which now seems to be, with social distancing and keeping separate and all of that, but seems to be washed down the plug hole, with everybody being encouraged to riot and throw bricks. So this gives away the game straight away. So here we go. We need to make sure that this is operational. There's a little test you can do. Take your fingers, reach up to the top of your neck, and swivel your eyes, first of all, as far as you can to the right, and hold them. As the sympathetic falls back into line, you should cough or sigh. Now, I'm not going to stay on camera until that happens, but that's what is supposed to happen. So it might take 2 or 3 minutes. I've just sighed there. And then we come to the other side. Swivel your eyes as far as you can over to the left and do the same thing. Now that should bring it into balance. The next and really important thing is breathing, because breathing switches on the parasympathetic, activates the vagus nerve. Because if the vagus nerve is not working, you're in perpetual sympathetic dominance. You don't need an immune system when you're running away from tigers. You don't need a digestive system when you're doing this. They take up too much energy. They switch off. And so many people have digestive problems. And if you're one of them, this might well help. So the breathing. I've talked about this type of breathing before. I'm going to talk about it again. It's the slow the breathing right down. You breathe in on the count of 5. Use the nose. We've done it before. And use the nose. Hold for a second. And then you breathe out. And you do 6 of these a minute. So you slow down your breathing. And you need to actually keep there for a while. I do it for about 20 minutes every morning. Just breathing in, hold, and out. In, and out. 6 per minute. Okay? Now, it's also very important that you don't eat while you're stressed, because if you're stressed, the digestive function has turned off. So it's really important that you come out of the sympathetic dominance into the parasympathetic. So this is all a vagus nerve thing. So before a meal, it's a good idea to breathe like that again, just for a couple of minutes. Because that makes you more, turns on the digestive function. So you're going to be able to deal with the food. We also talked some time ago, and it's something that I really want to go back to. We talked about testing. We talked about sticky smooth. We talked about the finger movement, remember? The idiomotor response. Just ask for a yes. Show me a yes. Show me a no. You can do it that way. And you can ask. Ask, is my vagus nerve fully functional? Actually, you shouldn't ask a question. You should make it as a statement. My vagus nerve is fully functional. Yes or no? Mine's not. So I need to do a bit more breathing. But you can test it yourself. I prefer the sticky smooth. That's when you rub the ball of the middle finger over the nail of the forefinger. Like that. And ask for a yes. Give me a yes. I get a smooth. I trust this one. I'm not sure I trust the other one entirely. Give me a no. Give me a no. And there I get a ridged feeling. Now you can do that as well. You can. I gave you a challenge, I think, a few weeks ago. Test all your food. See what's a yes and what's a no. Let's go back to the vagus nerve. My vagus nerve is now fully functional. I'm getting a no. So I'm just going to do a couple of breaths just to see if that does the job. All those who are members of Virtual Wellness, there's a whole meditation on that Facebook site. And as you slow down your breathing, you can feel it. You feel slightly dizzy. Let's try again. My vagus nerve is now fully functional. Still, it's not brilliant, but it's better than it was. So that's telling me that I need to do something about it. I need to do some breathing. Breathing is really good to bring this back. Meditation is also excellent. This exercise here is another one. So make sure, because if you're stressed, if you're worried, and goodness me, there is enough stuff out there to be worried about, here is a good time to be bringing yourself into balance. Another thing that you could do is to go onto YouTube. Now, maybe this is another discussion because perhaps it will take too long. But I have talked before about Royal Raymond Rife. Royal Raymond Rife was the inventor of the dark field microscope. So for the first time, this was in the 1920s, in the first time people were able to look at specimens under the microscope without burning it out, killing it in other words, using a heat source behind the slide. Now you could look at a slide, you could look at an organism and you could see it moving and wiggling about. It was still alive. And from that, he was able to discover that there were certain frequencies that killed organisms. And from that, he developed the Rife frequencies. They all came together in a Rife machine. But to cut to the heel of the chase, all or a lot of these frequencies are available on YouTube. You just have to listen to them. Just type in Rife frequency, YouTube, vagus nerve, and you will get some sound, you will get some exercise, you will get the frequency which you listen to. You do have to listen to it with headphones. It's no good, or good quality earbuds, although I don't particularly like earbuds because they can cause infection. Go and look at it, search for it, and listen to that on a daily basis. There are all sorts of frequencies, so go and check them. Anyway, that is for today. I hope this has been useful. I hope you could share this with your friends and family, that this gets out there, that it has an impact, which is really important. For today, which is Sunday the 14th of June, there is this meditation at 4:10 in Ireland and the UK, different times, different other parts of the world. In Thailand, it's 10:10 this evening. And at 5 o'clock, there's David Icke. So I point you in that direction. If you've got questions, you want to talk about any of this, please message me and I'll be happy to talk to you, because there's many things that, because of the time structure, I haven't touched upon, and there's some things that I thought it was wiser not to. So anyway, have a beautiful day, have a lovely week, and catch up with you soon. So for now, I'm going to say bye-bye and happy birthday, Donald Trump.